put someone in jail in 2025 and there's an expectation that they'll remain there until their sentence has run its course. Razor wire, constant surveillance and biometrically operated locking technology all work in spectacular synchronicity to produce a system that, by all rights, should be very, very difficult to break through. Go back 90 years or so and it's not like they were building prisons out of Swiss cheese and dental floss, but there was a bit more wiggle room for inmates who really put their mind towards escape. And on occasion, it would leave them bare-bummed and bedraggled.
Back in the 1930s, a well-known criminal figure arrived in Warwick on the Darling Downs. He was an extraordinary figure, and he was ultimately became known as the nude escapologist or the Phantom of the Penitentiary. You see, at around midnight on Friday the 14th of September 1934, several shots were fired in the main street of Warwick. That's because another prisoner had escaped from custody, which wasn't all that unusual for Warwick, unfortunately, because over the years quite a few had got away from the Warwick jail simply by climbing the wall. But this time, the escaped prisoner was John Sleeth.
That was author, historian and detectorist Harold Peacock from the History Out There blog, a fine fellow who rarely, if ever, takes his meals in the nude. Which is more than I can say for old Johnny Sleeth.
He'd been caught in the act of burglary but dodged police bullets to get away. He was eventually caught and brought to the Warwick jail. Now, Sleeth was well known to police as a slippery customer, so when he arrived at the jail, they placed him directly into leg irons. But Sleeth, he somehow managed to escape by using the handle of a cell bucket to firstly unlock his leg irons, remove 25 bricks from his cell wall, and simply walk out through the door of the adjoining cell, which had been left open.
Where there's a will and an errant bucket handle, there's a way. Now, this fellow was a very skilled escape artist with a really impressive track record. But while he was great at escaping, he was pretty abysmal at not getting caught.
Sleeth then scaled the very same prison wall that everyone else had been climbing over the years. Now, he was recaptured and this time sent direct to Boggo Road Jail in Brisbane. However, this time authorities were ready and took extraordinary steps to keep him behind bars.
Yeah, well, come on. How extraordinary could they be? What, did they keep him under armed guard 24 hours a day? Only feed him through a flap in the door? Well, you're not going to tell me that they stripped him down to his birthday suit several times a day, are you?
Firstly, Sleeth was never allowed to occupy the same cell 2 nights in a row. Secondly, and this is bizarre, he was required to take each of his 3 meals a day in the nude. That was to make sure that he didn't conceal any files, hacksaw blades or any other implements that might help him make another escape. And after the morning and midday meals, his clothes were given back to him, but after the evening meal, he was left starkers to spend the whole night completely nude. Now, in the morning, he was given his clothes back for those couple of sessions until breakfast when the routine started all over again.
I've got to admit, the thought of secreting a hacksaw blade on one's pantsless person sounds rather less than comfortable. And yet, it seems the inexplicable did occur.
Now, Sleeth obviously got sick of that routine, and so one morning, before they could give him his clothes back, they found that all the bars, bar one in his cell window, had been sawn through, and Sleeth had got out again.
Just picture this bare-bummed bandit squeezing himself out of a tiny window, wearing nothing but a grin. The bloke was an absolute savant in the science of escapology, although one can only imagine how and where those busted bars chafed during that tightly squeezed exit.
This was his 5th escape in 5 years, from jails including Albury, Townsville, Rockhampton, Warwick and now Brisbane. But they got him back. But that's how John Sleeth became famous as the nude escapologist, or the Phantom of the Penitentiary, following his interrupted stays in various prisons across Queensland.